Well, it looks as if it's recording at 6 minutes. I won't have a cigarette. But you might notice there's some kind of reflection from the camera. Um, about Jefferson Airplane, not Jefferson Starship. I won't say it, but I won't say it. I won't bother saying it. Uh, that's all I'll say. Hmm. Oh, gee, I'm looking quite old. I've met quite a few people who've been in that position, and that position was always caused by USA media, TV, uh, films, uh, with some UK TV films thrown in as well. Samantha James was not the only one who was done like that. You see, what they've sort of got is a church, and they've got ministries, ministers for their church. They don't have a government. They have something similar to old-fashioned religions. The interesting thing about a Jefferson Airplane, it's funny that one of the characters whose family was sort of dragged into the big #1 hit in 22 November 1963. Poor guy was sort of like dropped out of high school and sit around wondering, what can I do? And so he got a plan of how to build an airplane. Jefferson Airplane were already a band back in 66, 67. And so the poor sucker would sit around and say, oh, you want to see the plans? This is for a plane. I can build a plane. My response was, why haven't you built a plane? His answer is, I don't know how. Sort of thing. He came from quite a poor family background, but they were very wealthy by Australian standards. By Australian standards, they were, top echelon. But if you look at it from a broader perspective, as with, say, Paul McCartney, his family were impoverished for 150 years. Well, this guy, his family were poor, but, one of the wealthiest families here. So I really don't know what. As for Jefferson airplane Jefferson that changed its name to Starfish. I mean to Jefferson's, what was it, something, supersonic jets or something. I was listening to some of their very first recordings, and they knew where Jeff, a guy that went to school, who had an older brother, whose middle finger, you see this middle finger, Middle Earth, was completely gone. He'd had an accident and he could no longer do the peace sign because his middle finger was gone. And there was a storm water drain that was 8 feet wide, 6 feet deep, just opposite where the front door was. And and when I was in Holland, they had a similar sort of system where they have canals. And some character came up to me saying, and he wasn't running the black guy, and he wasn't an Englishman who was in Holland running the local crime scene, but bloke who came up to me and said, "Oh, you wouldn't believe what happened. They found a guy dead, drowned in the canal, his feet in a bucket of concrete." And I thought, wow, yeah, they build buildings with concrete these days. But it's interesting, in Holland they have cobblestones as footpaths and things. But anyway, that's the story of what, Godfrey's vacuum cleaners. They knew, I think the guy's name was Jack Watt, who sold TVs, opened a shop, sold TVs. They were all Pi TVs and had a vacuum tube in them at the time. Made a veritable fortune selling TVs. Yeah, I knew that guy as well. Bob Dylan's the vacuum of my mind. Okay, well, I suppose that's about all. Yeah, this TV screen is a light emitting diodes. I became God realized in '72. This screen isn't a vacuum tube, it's LEDs, lasers, all sorts of things. And I recently read something about a character who envisioned something like that, but don't worry about it because that will come to nothing apart from nothing. I must say that I won't say, man, are these guys organised? I guess what happens is British sort of Charles Dickens characters, petty criminals, are sent out to various places to hone their skills. And so I met the same character in Holland, '76, who was at Eleanor's house the day of the moon landing, who was at the house where Carol Marie was kidnapped to, and so on and so on. And I guess what they do when they're finished, work overseas, is they go back to England, say hello to their bosses, or maybe they're Italian, say hello to their bosses, and so on and so on. Okay, so don't forget the name, William Godfrey James. Godfrey Vacuum Cleaners. Okay, there is no government here. It's a failed religion, a failed religion.